we're going to look at all four variations, the explanations in Modeh Ani. Then we're going to look at the fifth one, which is Chassidus. Then we looked at different variations on how Chassidus explains the pshat, the remez, the tush, and the sod. Okay, so we left off talking about how how Hashem technically could withhold our souls, but He chooses to give it back to us, even though we gave it to Him as collateral. But that because He wants us to be here and to be able to do mitzvahs, and because He created this whole system for us in order to be able to do, and I know you had a hard time with this, but in order for us to be able to do what He desired, it benefits both of us. So He basically says, guys, yes, technically, according to the rules, you should have no business having your neshamas back, but I'm giving it to you anyway because I love you either way, and I want you to be able to do what I put you on this earth to do, okay? So now we're going to look at the sod, the Kabbalah. The Kabbalah explanation that we said before, which was that we said that it says, Modeh Ani Lefanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam, that the Melech Chai V'Kayam, the active living king, that the Sphira of Malchus, which is the 10th Sphira in each world. I don't know if you guys remember because it's been a while, but there's 10 Sphiras in each world. Chochmah, Bina, Dat, the intellectual ones. And then Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzachot, Yesod, Malchut. So we said that the Yesod, the foundation of this whole system, expresses itself in Malchus, in Hashem being the king. And that's what we said was the esoteric, the Sod, the Kabbalah version of Modeh Ani, that Hashem restores our souls because He wants to be a king upon us, and therefore the way, in order for Him to be a king, you can't be a king without a nation, and therefore He gives us back our souls so that He has a nation to be a king over, to be a ruler over, and that the whole foundation of Hashem wanting to create this world is so that He could be a ruler over His people. And the Yesod, as it connects to Malchus, to His kingdom or His royalty, His sovereignty, that's what allows Him to give us back our neshama every single day. Okay, so that's why we say Melech Chai V'Kayam. He's a king over us, and that's why He gives to us. So now we're going to look at how Chassidus illuminates that explanation, and then we'll keep going. Okay? Any questions about what I just said?
No, but I asked you a question last week, and you were like not so great about it, and I figured out the answer, and I'm going to tell you after.
Okay, wonderful.
Because I'm super proud of myself.
Can't wait. Please, yeah. All right. So.
About my dream? What dream? No, Ralphie's going to tell him.
Okay.
Why is Ariel?
All right. So now we have to understand how this goes how Chassidus is going to illuminate even the Kabbalistic interpretation of Modeh Ani. Because, right, we said before that even though there's a fifth level of understanding of Torah, that the Chassidus can be a fifth way to look at it, not just the Pshat, the Remez, the Tush, and the Sod. We also understand that Chassidus can be a flashlight and illuminate, or be a lens to look at the other four versions. So now we're looking at how the Chassidus is going to illuminate the Kabbalistic interpretation. And honestly, Kabbalah by itself is very hard to understand. It's things that require us to not really be in touch with the deeper meaning. I mean, it's things that are nice on paper, but at least for me, I didn't study enough Kabbalah or Chassidus to be able to understand those things on my own. And the only way for me to even understand them is to look at them through the lens of Chassidus. So Chassidus not only illuminates them, but it creates an attachment, a way for us to actually be able to comprehend what those things even mean to us, even though they're shining a different light. The illumination just allows you to see what, even though it was revealed to you, it was kind of in the dark, because it's the esoteric part of the Torah. It's the Sod, it's the Kabbalah. Chassidus shines a light and all of a sudden brings it to life. So we're going to look at that. Okay, so the explanation in Kabbalah, Shemelech Chai V'Kayam, what is it that this king is alive and exists? He's Sfirat HaMalchut, it's the sphere of Malchut. Kmo shemeyuchedet im Sfirat HaYesod. So we said that every sphera binds with the next sphera. So it's like a passing of a baton, right? Like if Chokhmah wants to deliver light to create, it passes the baton to Bina. And Bina says, okay, The baton starts as this. In Chokhmah, I got it from you. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my flavor, and I'm going to pass that baton over to Dot. And now it's like a snowball effect, right? It's like an avalanche. The snowball keeps getting the snowball keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger as it rolls its way down here. And what that means for us is that all physical form that manifests itself in this world is so garbed or covered in extra layers because as it rolls its way down from one sphere all the way down, it's picking up layers, and those layers conceal the inner godliness that sits behind it, that gives it its initial life. So in Chokhmah, it's just a little snowball, right? And as it rolls through and adds layers, by the time it gets to Malchus, it's so coarse and so dense you can't really even see the inner light that's within it, which is why Malchus is this world. Malchus of Asiya is the lowest, is where Hashem really reigns over us, is when we actually get to feel that there's a king and that there's us. So everything in the other worlds still feel like it's just an extension of Hashem, less and less and less. But as it comes down to here, when does Hashem actually get to be the king? He gets to be the king when we get to feel like we exist without him, because now there's him and there's us. The only reason that happens is because as the divine energy is picking up more and more and more layers on its way down. So, I mean, think Chochmah's up here and Asiya and Malchus is down here. As it works its way down, every time you pass the baton from one level to the next, you pick up layers. And it goes down and down and down until the world of the sphere of Malchus. So Malchus is actually like what reveals all of the process and the light that Hashem used to create this world. That's what reveals it into this world. So Malchus is like a bridge. It's like a mouth. When a king speaks, things happen. If a king decrees something, Hashem says this, that's what happens. Hashem says, Vayehi or, and there was light, right? It's Hashem's mouth that speaks everything into existence. Now, what you don't see when a king speaks is everything that the king desires and all of his thoughts and how he processes his thoughts and what it takes for the king to actually speak what he wants, right? Like if you were comparing humans, every time you think of something and you want to say something, your mind undergoes this whole process. Now, I don't know what's going on in your process. The only thing I can pick up is what you allow me to see, right? You reveal it by speaking it. So Malchus is Hashem's speech, it's his mouth. And Hashem wanted to reveal throughout his whole thought process, which was this gestational period, this whole process that came from his infinite light to, hey, I got to give you guys a way to exist down here. He basically went and said, okay, I'm going to allow this baby called the world to develop, and you're not going to see it until my mouth says what I want to exist. And it's going to be so far from the original. It's not just the little sperm and the egg that created this whole situation that turned into a human that you didn't get to see until the childbirth happened. It's literally picking up layers and developing that you don't see the core anymore. It's very hard to correlate a human being to a sperm and an egg. It's impossible to think, how did that become this, right? It's so far removed, but we understand how this works, right? But when it comes to Hashem, the same thing is true. When he wants to reveal what his initial process was, right? Like his initial intentions was to create. And therefore, how does he reveal that to us? Has to go through this whole development process where it changes and shifts and forms. And finally, at the end of this long chain of descent, this world is born. This world is born through Malchus. So Malchus is sovereignty or kingship because it's the first time that something is born. A mother says, this is my baby, and the baby says, this is my mother. Before that, they're all just kind of one, right? It's within it. The baby doesn't know anything other than what it has within it, and then it becomes separate and distinct. So Malchus is this idea of Hashem finally revealing his innermost intentions, right? And that's why everything that we see in this world is revealed by Malchus, and that's why we say he's a king over us, because now he actually established that we are here and so is he, and now we have a king to actually serve. So what we said in the Kabbalah was that Malchus binds with Yesod. Yesod picks up all of the prior attributes. So everything that Chokhmah had to offer was given to Bina. And Bina took what Chokhmah had to offer and what it contributed from Bina and gave it to Dat. And Dat took those prior to, and they just keep building on, and the package keeps getting bigger and bigger. And by the time Yesod transfers it to Malchus, Malchus says, okay, I'm ready to reveal all of the stuff that I gathered from all of you, okay? That's what Malchus does. So, so what we said before, and that we're saying now, is that where does our restoration of our soul come from? Wow, some well-dressed Meshulachim. Wow. Okay. So where does...
You missed the joke. Oh, I thought you heard what I said. I'm so nervous.
So where does Hashem restore our neshamas from? He restores it from this binding of Malchus with Yesod, where Yesod says, okay, I built this whole care package, and now it's time for you, Malchus, to give it over to the recipient. That's where we get our neshamas back from. Now, that's super lofty and really nice, but Chassidus is going to come and say, guys, we have to get rational about what this all means, okay? So Chassidus is going to come around and explain this, and basically, it's going to say the following. Okay. By looking at the explanation of Chassidus, right? Now Chassidus is going to say, guys, that's all good, but we're going to look at it from a different light, and you're going to understand what the hell this actually means, okay? So what does Chassidus say to explain this? Malchus is godliness as it's revealed in this world. That's literally the purpose of the mouth, to speak whatever the brain is thinking, to deliver over the final message, okay? So Malchus is revealing everything that Hashem desired prior and all the wheels that he set in motion, and that's how Hashem's light is revealed into this world. Now, because it's so coarse and has picked up so many layers, it doesn't even look like light to us, because let's just say that there's 4 worlds and there's 10 spheros in each world. At the bare minimum, this baton has been passed 40 times or 39 times by the time it's given to us, right? So it's picking up layers. This snowball is picking up more and more layers. Here just looks like a big dirty avalanche. We don't really see the diamond inside because this diamond has just gotten rolled in dust and dirt until it just looks like a rock, right? So by the time we get it here, and really every sphera has its own spheras. So it's really not even 40, it's 400, and it looks very different to us, okay? But Malchus is the first time in all of the creations that time and space exist, because this world does not exist except as Malchus of Asiya. The final mouth, that final childbirth, that's what reveals all the essence. And before that, there's no physical matter in the upper worlds. So
how upper? We're at the lowest of the lowest.
If you go up one rung, it's spirituality.
Is that why we're all at the lowest?
Yes, there can't be.
It's like when you first said, "Oh, there's 10," and you're at the lowest
There's
of the 10.
no
I was like,
bodies.
What the heck?
There's no bodies anywhere but in this world.
Of the lowest.
Mm-hmm. That's the first point in which spiritual matter can become physical matter. So before that, you literally can't exist. Malchus doesn't breathe life for us to be able to exist in such a coarse way where we don't feel Hashem's existence. Like, let's put it this way. If you went to Gan Eden and you went to Yesod of Asiya, which is the 39th lowest level, the first level above this world, right? You would still understand and be aware of godliness at all times because you're living a spiritual life. You don't have this what's it called when something doesn't allow electricity to flow through? Not a conductor, but what?
Current?
No, like the opposite, something that stops. Whatever it is. The point is, everything in this world, our body desensitizes our soul's connection to Hashem. That's why we don't feel the connection. Not because we're not connected, but because we just don't feel it. Our body is acting like a buffer. Every world above this world, that buffer doesn't
But when
exist.
you die, you go to a totally different rung.
Yes, Gan Eden is in the spiritual
So
world.
no, when you go to Gan Eden, whatever rung level you deserve down here, because you can't go up higher rungs, because once you die, you can't do mitzvahs. So let's.
People can do mitzvahs for you.
Right, that's true.
And then you can be elevated. That's
so
why
you
people
could-
say your neshama
Right,
should
right,
have an
an
aliyah.
aliyah. It's to
Because
go up that rung.
they're doing something for your
But
neshama.
when each person dies, they go to a different rung.
They go to different levels based on what they merited here. Imagine you get to be closer to the sun, and you get to wear more high intensity goggles so you can stare closer at the sun without burning your eyes. That's what Gan Eden is. So when you're on the lowest level of Gan Eden, you're like, you get to kind of see that there's a sun and you know it's there, but your eyes like don't get really burnt because you're so far away.
So really, we do mitzvos while we're alive to bring Mashiach, to bring God to bring light into the world.
Right?
If that doesn't happen before we die,
Right?
whatever we did goes to that level of rung highness.
It's not that it goes there, it's that we go there.
I'm saying whatever we did, whatever we accomplished.
Your merits
Gets us
get
there.
you to a certain level, and all that level means is that you get to see a ray of light of Hashem's infinite light, and the higher you go, the more sunlight you get to see of actual godliness without it being burnt up. Like Moshe couldn't see Hashem's face; he could only see his back, right? That's what it says. But no one can see Hashem's face. But Moshe is the highest Navi of all time because he got to see Hashem's back. Every other Jewish person who even heard the first two commandments from Hashem literally died every time Hashem spoke. And Hashem had to revive us, and then he gave us the second commandment, and then he had to revive us. And after all that, everyone's like, Hashem, chill. We're like, we can't keep dying and coming back to life. Just tell Moshe and he'll tell us, right? That's literally what happened. So Gan Eden is just us going to a higher place where we get to see more light without it burning us. And the more light you get to see, you're not seeing the direct light. The direct light you'll only see in the time of Mashiach, and ironically enough, you'll see it down here in the lowest of lows. But you're seeing a ray of light. You're seeing a reflection of the light in Gan Eden. And the higher you go, the more light you get to see. Okay?
What's the light? Like understanding? Or it actually like just the light?
It's seeing godliness. I mean, it's very hard to describe God in any way that actually makes sense unless it makes sense to your human brain. So we have to talk about things that we understand in order to compare, right? What does the light of Hashem look like? I don't know if it's actual light, if it's a knowledge and understanding of actual Hashem's existence. I don't know if I've ever been there, and if I did, I forgot, right? I don't know what it looks like, but we speak in human terms because that's the only thing we can relate to, and then we can understand,
Right,
right?
but it's something that we want. So it's like,
Sure, but I prefer to see the light down here in my physical body. I think the school of education for most people has been that if they work really, really hard, they'll get to see light in Gan Eden. But even that light is just...
Wait, what's the light here? You're saying Mashiach
Right now,
coming
there
here.
is no light here that
Or
we
you're
could
saying,
see.
right, well, you were saying I'd rather see the light here, you're talking like Mashiach.
Yeah. But over there, it's just a reflection of the light. Okay, so we're just saying things that help us understand what this means, but practically, I don't know what that light looks like. For me, it's just an acknowledgement that I feel godliness, and I can feel more and more and more godliness without losing my own existence.
Feel that, then.
Yeah,
So
so
we should feel the light in this world?
no,
Is that
this
what
world
I'm
is
sorry, I
this.
can't
Yeah, you're good. This world is shielded, so the light, you purposely can't feel the light, or else there would be no video game to play. If you feel the light, then what's the challenge, right? Which is why
But the light is Mashiach, I thought.
the light is Hashem's
Like,
what's
creation as far as, okay, there was infinite Hashem. There was nothing but him, okay?
Well, you know when you like hear something that you feel like so like inspired
Yeah.
by? Is that
Or, like, something
do you ever like
happens
do
to you and
something
you're
that
like,
like
there's no
something
way
happens
Hashem
to you or you're
doesn't
so
exist?
inspired by something and you like have that feeling of like, oh my gosh.
That's what I thought you were saying, that the light is a
Right, you know
connection.
what I'm talking about?
You can feel. You can,
What?
Sorry.
Girl,
No, I don't know more.
when I
we're
when
gonna do
I
mitzvahs together.
when I'm talking about light, I'm saying that
Teach her that feeling.
if Hashem was just the sun, like let's just take the sun for example, and there was just him, and he wanted there to be a place where people could feel the sunlight and benefit from the sunlight without getting burnt. Okay, so he had to distance his creation so far away, like planet Earth had to be so many light years away from the sun, so that we could actually benefit and believe that there's a sun and enjoy its rays without getting burnt, right? So when I say light, I'm talking about Hashem's existence. It's his energy, right? Hashem is just, we think of him as like a person because that's all we can relate to. But he's infinite energy. So I could use that term and just say that the amount of infinite energy as it makes its way down from the highest world before any of the worlds, when it's just God by himself, all the way down through the ozone layers until he gets here. By the end, there's a lot less energy that you don't even recognize that it came from this infinite source. Like if I had an ocean and it flowed, the ocean, let's just say it worked backwards, and the ocean flowed to a big lake, and that lake flowed to a river, and that river flowed to a small lake, and that flowed to a small pond, and eventually at the end of that chain, there was just me going like this and putting a little drop, and all you saw was that, right? And I told you, sorry, I ruined your plate, but these are free, and she'll post it. There's, if I tried to convince you that this came from that Atlantic Ocean, you'd be like, get the hell out of here, right? What are you talking about? This was one drop. How you tell me that originated from that? But the truth is that it did. You're so far away from the ocean, you don't see that chain as it works its way down. So call it light, call it Hashem, call it infinite energy. It's the energy is being diminished on its way down to the point that when you open the spigot at the end, there's just one little drop of water that comes out. And the test of this world is that you're expected to believe that somehow that drop came from an infinite body of water, and that infinite body of water is constantly pumping all the water that comes to this one spigot every single time. It's like a hard thing to imagine, right? But that's the way Hashem had to create all of this. He had to conceal in his existence while still allowing it to exist.
Some people see him more than others. Like you always have this like little drop, or like that. Let's say all the lights lit up the room, the whole room would explode. But
Yeah,
I don't think everyone sees Hashem the same amount.
it's not that they're seeing Hashem more or less.
He's
it's that
showing
they-
himself only a certain way,
It's
and then
that
you
they
choose.
feel their own soul more than other people.
They're
there's-
connected to
Because
their
some
own
people are
soul.
more spiritual.
Some
than others.
people can feel their soul in their body, and there's times
I
of
almost like hate the whole
elevation.
word like spirituality. I'll meet someone who's like so spiritual, but like not from. And I'm
Right,
like,
so
you're not
listen to-
spiritual.
Listen to
You're.
Birdless Bird Wings, and you'll understand.
I did
Okay, the point is,
one of his podcasts.
okay, the point is that Hashem had to create this system that makes zero sense. It literally negates itself in every way. He said, guys, I need to give all of this away to exist. It has to run on seemingly autopilot, right? The world has to constantly exist. You have to constantly exist. And the only way for you to exist, because I created you out of nothing, I said this last week, is to constantly be recreating you every single second, right? So anyone who says Hashgacha is not a thing doesn't understand creation. You don't understand that Hashem is literally saying your name every single second. And therefore, even though he's saying that, he also had to create it in a way where you don't feel that that's what is happening, right? It's like the biggest oxymoron ever. I'm going to create beings that are going to get to exist, and I'm going to create them every single second. And I'm going to give them a world and this whole spiritual chain of descent so that you could all exist. And I'm going to do it in a way where you feel like I don't exist, right? It's like this push and pull. And so divine energy, as it relates to here, imagine that, you had, let's just look at I don't know, so let's say something changed forms, like it was liquid, and then it got so disgusting and diluted that by the time you got it, it was a solid, you'd have to believe that it really originated from liquids, right? This world is the first place where that liquid looks solid, right? And up above in all the other worlds, even one world up, one sphera up from where we are, it's still a liquid. It's a really thick liquid. It's not clear water. It looks like some murky, gross, thick, muddy, whatever. By the time it gets down here, it's just a straight up rock, right? It looks solid. The world of Asiya, which is the lowest of the four worlds, and the sphere of Malchus, which is Hashem saying, guys, I had to create this system so that you see a rock and then believe that it came from a liquid. I had to create a world where you don't see me, but you believe that it originated all from me. The only place that it becomes concealed for us, for our eyes, is here, and that's why he put us here. Because if he put us somewhere else, there would be no challenge. That's why you have to make something. You have to donate a kiddush. You have to donate a building. You have to do a mitzvah. You have to retail. Do something so that the neshama has an aliyah. Make a bracha on a cookie. Do something. Because when you do that, it elevates the neshama. The neshama can't do anything on its own because it's in a world where there's no concealment anymore. It's past the point on the other side of the veil. There's one veil that says, guys, it's just you and I'm not here anymore and you got to believe in me. No other world has belief. We have sight, we have vision. Now, you might not have a body in that world, but your neshama knows things, right? How are you able to see when you're sleeping? How can you dream? Your eyes are closed. Why are you able to see things? You're able to see because your mind has an eye. Your mind's eye is understanding. And so when you're in the upper realms, you don't have to have a body. You can fly around like Casper and enjoy. You got two for Casper. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
you know.
All right.
Of course.
Thank God. One
Casper,
person.
Louisiana.
Okay. All right. So the whole thing has to work in a way where it doesn't matter that you don't have a body. Your mind knows God's existence in those upper worlds, and therefore there's no challenge. And so while I always hated growing up, all these Haredi, Sephardi rabbis in Israel would say, guys, there was an earthquake. It's time for Mashiach. Run, do mitzvahs, right? And I was like, that's the worst way to look at it. Like, I look at doing those mitzvahs because I have opportunity now. I won't have that opportunity. Not like, oh, shoot, you're going to die if you don't say Modeh Ani, right? Like, there's just there's going to be a time where it's so revealed and obvious to you that you're not going to be able to do Averas, and you're not going to be able to do mitzvahs in the same way. The purpose of what we do and why we do it will be very, very different than what it is right now when Mashiach comes. You look confused.
No, okay. My question was more that the light sounds
Wait,
like
I mean
it's like
that
a
whole
metaphor.
thing didn't even answer.
No, it sounds like a metaphor for like that. This light is depending on what level you are, you have more of an understanding of Hashem. Like
You're
you
able
see
to
him
it's
more.
brighter.
Right. So depends on where you land, based on what you did, is how much you'll see Hashem and know him in the next world.
Yes,
And you'll only be able to move up if
other people
Other
Big
do
deal
for
things
you.
for you. Because once you die, you can't do mitzvahs anymore.
right.
Well, that's why
Right.
you always, even just a yahrzeit candle, even something makes a big difference. Like, because they can't do
They
anything.
can't do anything. You do mitzvahs for them.
One
know?
thing
I'm not saying
gets
you're
you.
not-
Do you know that-
I'm saying
do you
someone
know-
who died and has no
Do you know that if a
options
man
and-
goes into the cemetery, he has to tuck in his tzitzis if they're out? Because he doesn't want to make them feel bad that they can't do a mitzvah, like wearing tzitzis.
What if they like
They have
donated
to-
something, like they donated
I knew that.
sitters and then everybody uses that one?
Yeah.
And that,
Like anything you
before
can do
they
for
die,
the
say, I'm gonna donate sitters that every time
Yeah,
somebody
so
dies with a
like,
sitter, they
so
just
let's
say-
say someone
the
builds
books,
someone builds a
the
yeshiva. All the learning that happens in that yeshiva forever is constantly working in their
Right, so they could, like,
Honestly, I thought about
Yes.
that, and I'm like, honestly, I'd rather be safe than sorry.
Yeah,
Like, let's-
that donated look like go hand in hand.
Right, rather safe than sorry.
I love
Basically,
it.
we all
What?
need to make a yeshiva with our names on
What?
it.
Yeah, I like you wanna bring that to
I can't wait to go to your yeshiva.
No, I work.
My great great grandchildren, okay?
Yes.
I can't wait, right, Mickey?
What?
I get very.
I can't wait to go to your school.
What school?
The one that someone's gonna
I
name.
have
your
one-
name
I have
on
another
Oh,
question.
wait, why am I dying so early?
You know, like my great great grandchildren.
Oh, I'm
What's
like,
the
dude,
You can't die
Once
before
we're
me. We already.
in the next
you
world,
know,
like why?
What?
they're go.
Like
She's
at
going
that point,
somewhere?
why doesn't Hashem
She's
just want to
going-
like
Who's she?
show us,
Next year.
show everyone like
She's
why
like,
is there like
"Let's go."
levels in the
With
next
who?
world?
Yes.
Well, there's
Let's get-
reward and punishment. So you're
That's
getting
random.
rewarded for your efforts done here.
But I feel like just like it feels
I'm
like
like,
that.
yo soy
like,
Javier,
if
yo soy Mas-
Hashem's our father, like just like that's it, like right, like
then like we'll all be like,
so,
oh,
like then
Then get
random.
infinite light.
yeah,
There's
like
a
if
there's a
we
there's a
like make
system.
this like
Wait.
relationship like father, right? It's like
Right.
king, whatever. Like it just feels like if we
Imkaban-
die and we're
Imkaban.
going to the next, like it just feels like he should just.
Because
Give us-
even if he
Maybe
gave
makes
us
sense.
all of it, it still wouldn't be as good as Mashiach. And so when you get to whatever level you're at, he's probably going to send you back down to do more missions to fix whatever you need to
I'm
fix.
saying this is not the
Everyone
first
go to
time.
the same level.
What?
Because you didn't earn it. Why can't everyone get a trophy? Because you didn't freaking
but, like
win.
that's not like I just don't feel like Hashem looks at it like that. Like
For sure he does.
There's
Why would he give
set up
something
a
that he
whole
doesn't
reward
earn?
System.
Yeah. Always, you ever hear about the scales? Rosh
No,
Hashanah
I
time,
just feel like
Kippur?
everything we like speak about, and then it like contradicts like everything we say about Hashem.
Why? Do you have kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not allowed to ask people about
I don't know. It makes a better understanding.
I'll
Okay.
use that as an.
Okay, so are you just gonna forever give your kids every single thing they want all the time equally? If one listens,
No,
if one
but
don't?
Why
we
not?
just said that we're not in our
I'm
human
asking.
form anymore. Like it's just our neshama. So at that point, why? Like I understand that no, they need to earn it. It's better if you earn it, but this we're not.
Because
in
you
our
are
human
still
body.
when you come down to this world, he tasks you with a specific mission, okay? And you are supposed to accomplish that mission. If you don't accomplish it, you want him to just say, it's fine. I don't really need you to do it anyway, right? Like he was like, hey, I sent you down there, like you had stuff to do, and I did it for your sake. Like
That I feel like I keep getting stuck on the your sake. Like it could just, as in, okay, let's say someone says like if it was your child, like
The
we
bottom
need to show
line
them
is-
punishment, right? Let's say they did something like
Right.
no, not at the point when they're
For what?
a newborn.
or yeah, or
But
like
you're not
there's a-
newborn.
like if let's say it was
Words on newborns, like we don't.
But
know.
not.
No,
But
we're
you're not
also-
though. You know, you
We
learned.
freaking are. We're level 40. We
But we're all level 40. Like I'm saying, the big
The
rabbis
level
are also.
Level 40 is the only place that
Yeah,
there's a
you
challenge.
said that.
We're all on the same level.
We have to watch.
It's the only place that there's a challenge. There's no challenge in any of the other levels. So you're looking at us like, hey, we're the lowest of the lows, but no, we're just the only ones playing.
Is it bad that
Because it might be Eliza.
Should I call him
There
Is
out?
it bad that I feel like
People are gonna keep sending
It
me
doesn't
cheesecakes and
sound
they're gonna
much
call him
better.
out on all
What's
the
this?
levels.
part is this?
Who said it's
it
higher?
feels like this is like I feel like it's fun.
No,
to
this
play.
is
Like
this
I don't
is
wanna,
this is
like,
once you're.
I would rather
I'm gonna
play.
tell you what
Are we
you're
gonna
doing.
make
That's
a
why
video of
Mashiach's
Eliza
so much
for
more
doing it?
appealing to me.
This I would never.
I don't want to go. I want to stay
That's what
here.
I'm saying. I don't really. It doesn't sound
Exactly.
What?
nice.
Gan Eden to me doesn't sound that great.
Inconsistent.
I would rather
What?
stay down here and have it come here.
I think maybe my vision of Gan Eden is different than yours. I think Gan Eden sounds great.
I don't like.
I don't want that.
I think it's a personality thing. Like I like.
It's a
like,
temporary
I
holding
don't
cell.
like, I don't like. I like that kind of working. And
Because you
living
can
and,
achieve something, right?
But like, don't you get to like see the other dead people in Gan Eden?
Sure, you can reconnect to them.
That's
It
fine.
just feels like a temporary holding
It is a
cell.
temporary holding cell, but it's a temporary holding cell with people that you want to be with.
That's cool, but I'd rather have a permanent place.
I hear that. No, I'm not fighting that, but like, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it doesn't sound so bad. You're saying it sounds horrible.
It is a good place. Just because that's not what I want doesn't mean it's not a good place.
No,
It's clearly called
no,
heaven.
it's not as good as Mashiach coming. I understand that, but I don't
Right.
think it's a bad place.
It's not bad. It's still Gan Eden. We're
Yeah.
talking about heaven.
Right, but you're making it like, oh, I don't want that.
I don't want that. That doesn't mean it's a bad place. It's a good place.
What does this have to do?
I don't know. She was asking a
I feel
question.
like we were not even talking about Modeh Ani anymore.
We haven't even said one thing.
Because you were so busy talking about what Malchus was. You keep describing
I have to.
what it is so many
I
times,
have
but we
to.
understand what it
They
is.
don't.
Well, I do.
Okay, well, it's not just
I don't
me.
know if I ever will.
Yeah, it's fine.
Are we still on?
Yeah, okay. Are we still going? Or is this just
I think they're we lost.
Ricky at the same time. Ricky at the same
Lost them all.
time.
Lost them all?
No, but I understand what they're not understanding, but I feel like we're so stuck on trying to understand what Malchus is that
You
like.
have to, or else you're not going to understand
But
what
we
I'm
got it.
saying.
I got it.
But they didn't.
Just two people. It's fine. You can keep going. You don't have to be stuck on it.
I'm not stuck on
I think
it.
once you go more, they'll understand more.
I'm trying. You're asking me more
Just like you
questions.
said, Modeh Ani Continued. Let's go. Melachai Mekayem. Let's go. Melachai Mekayem.
Tell your
Let's sit
friends not to ask me questions.
No, I like the question.
No, I feel like this is not.
You just want to be gifted everything.
No.
Yeah.
So you're.
Yes, I do.
If God forbid someone's child runs in the street, right?
Yeah.
Let's say gets hit by a car, or whatever. Is in a coma, God forbid. Right?
Okay.
The parent is not then like next to him is gonna be like, I told you not to run the street. Sorry, you ran the street. Like
So my type. So my type.
Like what's the
Don't
like? Like, I don't know.
But that's because that's because you're thinking of a finite situation where you either live or die. With Hashem, because you're spiritual, your soul lasts regardless of which world you're in. It's cumulative.
No, it's
You were here before. You maybe made it to Gan Eden. You went
I
down.
like the jewelry. Is it
We
connected?
can't move up, so we didn't.
You can move up.
By other people.
You can move up by what you do down here.
But I'm saying once you get up there, why should there be
Oh, guys, why is
levels?
no one eating
Why
quiche?
isn't Hashem just like, yeah, like you're
Eat the
my kid,
quiche.
like I wanna.
He does. He does. He does. He does. He says to you, okay, you know what? You've been here for a while. You want a chance to move up? I'm sending you back into the war.
It's very important.
Go and do more stuff and you'll get back higher. He doesn't just say, okay, I'm just going to pull everyone up. He desired, because of two reasons. Because of two reasons. Number one is that he desired that we do mitzvahs down here. And if he just gifts us everything, then we'll have no reason for him to send us down here.
The desires for us, right? Also.
Wait, I'm not done. The first thing is that he sends us back down here to do more mitzvahs because the whole reason he created this whole system is to do mitzvahs here, okay? And as a result of that, we get to go higher, okay? Number two is that he doesn't want us to go higher in the upper realms. He wants us to bring heaven to here. So it doesn't help him for us to go higher. It might help us temporarily, but he's like, guys, I'm giving you Mashiach. It's way better than any Gan Eden that you could ever have. You could keep going up higher and higher and see reflections of the light. But if I really want to gift you something, it's not bringing you higher in Gan Eden. Gan Eden is just temporary. It's bringing Mashiach to here. That's the ultimate Gan Eden. That's the next world. Really, Olam Haba doesn't mean Gan Eden. It means Mashiach. So you're saying, why does he bring you higher? We're saying, no, bring us lower and then come
That's not like
visit.
souls. Like your soul gets reused. So like,
Do you understand what I'm
like how
saying?
many
That's what I was
bodies?
thinking. I understand, but there, again, whatever God Eden is spoken
Yeah, but you
about,
can
it
get
feels
higher
like
each time.
we have this like
Like,
whole
mind you, like, I'm so convinced that, like, I'm really
like,
up
very
there.
loving relationship. And then
Like
it
I don't. Like I'm
doesn't
very.
feel
Like,
that-
Why does
be
that
humble,
negate his
but like,
loving
I
relationship?
don't know. I feel
He
like
says, guys, you want to go higher?
I
I'm
do.
giving you more
and I did tell
opportunity.
my husband.
Hey,
And he's like,
son,
because you are.
you
And then
want
my
to get
mom's
more
like,
candy?
you give her false
Can you
confidence.
sweep the floor and you'll earn a candy, right? I want to give you candy. I'm giving you a way to get more candy. He's not saying I don't want to help you, but he's like, hey, I'm going to give you a way to earn it. What feels better for you? If you earn a parnasa by working really hard, or if everyone just drops the lottery on you all day long and do nothing?
That's what he said. That's ultimate. That's the ultimate.
Yeah, it's not fulfilling.
Fulfilling your purpose. You're fulfilling
There's
your
no
purpose.
reward for us in it if he just gives us everything. He gave us Matan Torah. He gave us the Torah, right? And Harsi,
I don't make challah.
we didn't do anything for it. He just pulled us out. He's like, I love you. You're my kids. Come out of Mitzrayim. Today's Pesach Sheni, right? Come out of Mitzrayim. Pesach Sheni rolls around. He's like, guys, you couldn't bring a korban. I'm still waiting for you. Come, I love you, right? And then what happens? He gave us the Torah, but he forced it on us.
We had a matzah party.
He held the mountain over our heads and said, are you going to accept the Torah? If not, I'm dropping the mountain on your head. And I love you so much, I'm forcing you to accept it, right? That's not, there's no merit in that. That's him saying, okay, I love you, great. But like, how do you guys get the Torah from me? We had to have Purim for that to happen, right? So I'm just saying, you could say all day that it's like, where's the Father if he's not raising us up to higher places? I'm telling you, he does. It's called reincarnation. He keeps bringing neshamas back into this world so that they could get higher. And by the way, he brings us into this world not only so that they can get higher in Gan Eden, but so that eventually Gan Eden could come here. And then all the neshamas from Gan Eden, guess what? It's called Ches Amesim. We're all going to come back down and live in this ultimate Gan Eden that lasts forever, right? It's not different than what you're saying. You just think that Gan Eden is the be-all, end-all, and he should just do us all a favor and bring us there. He's like, no, the ultimate favor is for you guys to make this world awesome, and I'll come live with you, and it'll be better than any Gan Eden.
I don't think I get to the point of like moving up with her and back down.
Right. Also, if you're gonna come back down anyway, and you're moving, that's my thing. Let's say I die, right? And everybody in the world is like doing a million mitzvahs to me to raise me up, right?
Yeah.
But I had come back down anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
What neshama were they raising up? Do you get what I'm saying?
Maybe you're not coming back down if you're already up there.
I wasn't
Yeah,
listening.
but it doesn't sound like I want to go up. That's my point. Like
No.
Do you think stay on?
You might have been up 20 times already.
it sound.
Right. No. This is my question. Listen to my question.
We're ready.
Listen to my question. This isn't my question. Let's say you're dead, because I don't want to say I'm dead. Let's say you're dead.
Sure.
Anyway, fine. You're dead, not me. You're dead, and we're like, and all of us are doing mitzvahs for you, and your neshama's going up and up and up. But your neshama already came back down, and you're like a squirrel or whatever. And we're
You
saying,
don't think that there's a benefit to, if I'm in this world, that I'm receiving higher connection?
you're saying even if your neshama came back down. So let's say I'm a dead old lady, and people are still davening for my neshama that they think is going up rungs. It's not. I'm down here.
It's helping you here.
It's helping
When
me
you
here.
go back
Yeah.
up, you're gonna be that much higher.
No, but it helps her
But
here.
he's saying it's
even
helping me
in this
here.
They're gonna
world.
boost you.
It's also helping you
It
to
helps her.
for the
It helps her
other person.
neshama in this world.
If people are,
Why?
because people are praying for me regardless.
no-
They're not they're not praying for Mickey Wassner, but they're praying for whoever the heck, whatever the heck I was last time around. Like I was someone's great grandmother, and they are still davening for me.
Okay.
It's not necessarily your whole neshama, it's part of your neshama.
Also,
Is that what naming after a person also, like that person does the mitzvah? Like that kid that you named after that great
everything
grandmother?
they do elevates their.
Oh, really?
Is that what it
Yeah.
is also?
Some people
That
say
gets
that,
into.
yeah.
Oh, we could bring in Yellow Applebaum for the whole naming.
Then what's the point of naming after? I thought that was the whole point. But
By the way, guys, if anyone needs help naming their baby, I have a friend who professionally baby names.
All right, can I get through one
Yeah.
thing before I end this?
Yeah.
Let's get through one thing and we'll eat more cheesecake, okay? Oh,
Come in.
okay.
Thank you. Come again.
Oh, is that your?
Okay.
Thank you, I'll see you next week.
See you, Hody.
Bye,
I'm coming.
Oh, where'd Nikki go?
Okay.
I may make it later.
You're making her yes, no, okay.
Nikki, please don't hurt her.
So okay.
How you doing?
Come get some cheesecake. I saved some for you. Oh, no.
She must not have read the group chat.
Oh, sure, there's not on the group.
I know.
That's my sister-in-law. That's Hoodie's sister. We're sister-in-laws.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay. All right. So we left off that the Malchus is the first place in all of existence. Malchus of Asiya, the lowest world, which is this world, where time and space exists. Okay. Everything else transcends all of that. So even one level up, there is no such thing as time and space. And I don't want you to like sit and comprehend or try to comprehend how things exist in a place where the timeline just is, where there's no beginning, middle, and end, or before, now, after. It's simply impossible. No, I'm just going to tell you straight up. It's not possible for a human in this world to understand how something can just exist, right? There's a really important point about this, though, and don't be upset, but people always ask, how could it be that Hashem gave us free choice to choose what we do in this world, but also knew what we were going to end up choosing, right?
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Okay, so hear me out.
But that's what Bechira is.
Okay,
It's so confusing that he knew that you were
he
gonna
knows
choose
what you're
something
going to
else.
choose,
Here's the future. And
Okay.
he's the one that helps you choose. He's the one that puts thoughts into your head and thoughts not in your head. And it's
right?
so
He
confusing.
knows
You're
where you
right.
need to end up. He knows where you need to end up. He knows what choices you're going to make, but he gives you free will to choose,
But he
right?
also gives you the thoughts and the feelings and the reason.
Right.
Like, it's just how can it be all from you?
The reason is because only in this world do time and space exist, okay? So when we look at how could I have made a choice right now that leads me to somewhere later, and that also be in line with what Hashem actually wanted from me, like it was my destiny to end up here. Hashgacha took me to right here, right? How did I know to make that decision and that's where I needed to go? It's because here we think on a linear plane. We think I was here, and then a month later I was here, and time only moves this way. I can't go backwards, right? But that's only because time and space only exists here. But in Hashem's world and all the spiritual realms above this world, there's no such thing as time and space. So literally, it's good piano. It's a good piano song. So literally, when you're just looking at all of existence in one plane, where there is no before, now, and after, right? There's no past, present, future. There just is. It's very easy for things to exist and you make the right choices before or later or whatever, and them still be what Hashem wants them to be. So when Hashem sets out a master plan, it's not time dependent, because Hashem doesn't live in a world with time. Hashem doesn't live in a world with space. It applies to us here. And I want to make super clear that you just have to accept these things as facts, because it's not within your human brain or any human's brain to understand how you can conceptualize a world with no time and space, because that's beyond our limitations. So just accept that Hashem doesn't have that, and that's just a creation of this world. Time is a creation of this world. When it became sunlight and then it became darkness and the sun rises and sets, that's a function of this world. Hashem did it as part of how we operate in this world, but really in his worlds, all the other worlds, there's no such thing as time and place or space. It's just something that we have to accept, okay? But this world is the first one that has time and space. And that's why it says, where do we get our neshamas back in Modeh Ani? Where's our soul restored from? From this living and eternal King. And that the restoration, it's like we get a new soul. We said this last time. It's like we get a new soul every single day. Why? Because a chidush yesh me'ayin, because the way Hashem creates something new in this world is that there was nothing, and then there's us, and he recreates us anew every single day. So even though Malchus is what reveals this and makes things physical, makes things tangible, makes spiritual matter into physical matter, and it makes things finite, what gives it life to create finite life is the fact that it's infinite. That's why I'm talking about these dual modalities, right? The fact that Hashem gets to exist in a way where he's infinite, and he creates a system for us to be finite, even though he's giving us infinite amount of energy all day long to exist, and saying our names all day, saying the name of every creature and creation in this world. The infinite light is what creates something from nothing. But he creates us in a way where we're finite. So Malchus, which actually delivers the message, it's the Amazon delivery driver who gives you your package at the end. He's giving you a finite package, a neshama that comes to you, that you get to feel like Hashem is so far from you, like he's not even here, like there's physical form and matter, like you can't even understand these spiritual worlds. But where is that coming from? It's coming from the infinite source. So the little tap at the end of the spigot, the little droplet, is coming from an infinite body of water, an infinite ocean. So Malchus has this amazing power where our neshama is restored to us every day, and it has this power. What does it mean when it binds with Yesod, where we said that it's this Melech Chai V'Kayam, this living and eternal King? Living implies that something is not eternal, because when you live, you can either be alive or you could die. It's one way or the other. The concept of life is finite. But living an eternal King, Melech Chai V'Kayam, one that exists or is alive, is the fact that Malchus is finite. So he gives our neshama life in our bodies. He gives our bodies life by giving us back our neshama. So he's giving us this infinite neshama because he is infinite, And the source of our neshamas and all of our existence and this whole world is infinite, because the only thing that can create all of this system is something that is infinite, right? The only thing you can create something from nothing is if you are infinite yourself. And how does he give it to us, to our bodies, to our finite bodies? Through malchus, through this attribute that doesn't necessarily have the power to give independent existence, but because it's just the messenger. If I'm the Tov Pizza delivery guy, you're welcome for not saying other pizza places.
I don't know.
If I'm the Tov Pizza
Like
delivery
maybe today
guy,
went somewhere else.
if I hand you the pizza, I didn't make the pizza. I didn't make it, I didn't cook it, I didn't do any of it. I just handed you the pizza. That doesn't make me the person who made the pizza. I'm just the delivery guy, right? That last link in the chain is what gives over the pizza. That's why he's saying, I'm giving you this neshama, I'm giving you malchus, my kingdom, as a delivery person, to give you back your neshama every single day. Your infinite neshama that was created something from nothing by me, since I'm infinite and I created this mechanism where I can create something from nothing. I'm giving that to you in a finite way. That's the bond of the
It's not the
Kabbalah.
delivery driver giving it back to you, it's God giving it back to himself. He's hand delivering it.
Well, Malchus is the
Oh,
delivery
you're
guy.
saying Malchus is the-
Malchus is the delivery
But
guy.
isn't it God that's putting your soul back in?
God is this whole thing, right? And
Right.
on Milvado, from our
But
perspective.
really, when you wake up and say, if you know all this, right?
Yes.
When you wake up in the morning, you should almost be like, oh my gosh. Like, you should like really like say Modeh Ani, like, I don't know, like the second your
Oh,
eyes
yeah.
open, you should be so in awe that this whole process just happened to
You
you.
should. You're being created new every single day. And on top of that,
So like most people wake up and they're like, oh my god, my stinking alarm.
yeah, he's giving you an
But, like,
infinite
really, we should be
soul.
like, oh my gosh, guys.
Yeah, he's giving you an infinite soul, and he's putting it in a finite body, and he's defying the rules of all existence. He's saying, guys, I'm going to make you something infinite. It's like putting a fireball in an ice cube.
What's
and not
happening when
melting.
non-Jewish people wake up in the morning? What's going back in them?
I think they,
No,
I
it's not the same. What is that? No, I'm saying.
their body and soul, they have one nefesh. So their soul exists on it. We have two parts of our soul.
Right,
We have the part that gives life to our body, and the part that is always connected with Hashem.
right.
Theirs does not work that way. It's a lot closer to animals, where they have a soul.
So that's
They're,
what's happening with animals. It's
they're
just-
caught. Animals just satiate their own desires. They don't have.
No, I'm saying with the whole wake up process. Like this seems to be like a whole process of the soul being put back into us.
It is.
But they're also 1/60th dead when they sleep. Everyone's 1/60th dead when they sleep.
It's different because they're not handing their coat. They're not handing their neshama, their godly soul, back to its maker.
Since they
every night.
only have a not.
Yes.
Since they only have their basic.
They're not checking it
Is-
in the coat
but-
rack.
so we have two souls: a godly soul and a basic soul.
An
They only
animal
have
soul.
a basic soul,
Yes.
an animal soul. I'm
Yes.
sorry. So we hand back both our animal and our godly soul.
Our godly soul, our animal soul stays in our body to give life to our body, or else you would die.
So when they're sleeping, it's just their animal soul.
Right.
So when they wake up in the morning, it's just their animal soul just opening up.
Imagine you had I don't know, some device, and you took out the battery every night to charge it while it was still plugged in or whatever, right? But you can't use it anymore. We have this mechanism of recharge every single night.
So only Jewish people have this godly soul that's being recharged every single time we go to sleep.
Right.
Whereas everybody else, it's their basic animal soul that's in them anyway, and
Right.
just like it's in us, and it's keeping us alive and,
And-
breathing,
and
even
the-
though they are sleeping.
Right.
Nothing's
And
meaning
the-
they don't have this whole.
and
They wake
the-
up in the morning and to do whatever they want.
And the only reason we can even recognize that this is happening, like if you wake up tomorrow morning and you're like, wow, it's been Modeh Ani. Hashem created this infinite system and gave me a soul, and he reinserted it into my finite body, and all this stuff happens. The only reason we can even recognize that is because we have that yechida, the fifth innermost part. The only reason we can recognize the infinite in God is because we have an infinite within us. If we didn't have that part, the other four parts of our soul are finite. We would never be able to apprehend or understand this essence of Hashem, right? You'd say sometimes you feel your soul, right?
What about like on Shabbos, like that extra?
That's different. It's because Klipat Noga is elevated in the world. We haven't talked about Klipat Noga, but we'll get into that later. But yes, you're onto something. The same way you have this added neshama that's with you on
Right.
Shabbos, right? Your neshama is Sarah, right? But the whole world is elevated on Shabbos and Chag, and we'll talk about that later. But it's basically the divine energy that gives this world power to exist can give it either to holy things or impure things. Like the reason why non-kosher animals are able to be sustained
Are
physically.
we gonna
in
get
this
to the
world,
point that we talk about the animal soul and the godly soul?
That's not going to be in this.
That's not in this book at all.
No, that's
That's
a
gonna be like when I
that's
turn
a-
50.
that's a Tanya Shir.
Okay.
All right. But anyway, the only reason we can understand this is because we have this fifth level of the soul that corresponds to Chassidus, the Chida, the innermost part of our soul, and that's why we can even recognize the fact that Hashem is infinite and that a part of us is infinite, that He can give us this infinite soul in a finite body and basically defy the rules of all existence. Okay? So we'll get to more
Did I
later.
miss from another week what the purpose of like sleeping and like doing that?